What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with this 13 days out physique update from Tonio. Yes, the decision has been made. And Tonio is ready to step on this upcoming Dubai Pro stage. And that too for the very first time in his career. And the man is chasing the big money this time. So it's a very good move, not just for him, but for the sport as well, and for Dubai Pro too. It sends a great message to all the people out there who are putting so much money on the line that some of these top guys, they are interested in doing their shows. So we know Tonio just won the Legion Sports a couple of weeks back, and he earned his Olympia spot for this year. And the man looks to be in a phenomenal shape right now. But let's be real here. There was no competition for Tonio at the Legion Sports this year. The guy who placed second, that was Patrick Moore. And Tonio was just way too beautiful, way too aesthetic, and way too complete for that entire lineup in that show. Now Dubai Pro on the other hand, that is an event where it will be very clearly decided that has he closed that gap in terms of the size and the mass to be a contender for the Olympia top 6, and that too this year, because that is his ultimate goal. Well, I'm gonna say let's change that top 6 to top 5. Because Tonio recently said that his own expectations that are top 5 at the Olympia for this year, which I'm gonna say seems very unrealistic, especially for now. Is he expecting to beat a guy like Martin Fitzwater and Andrew Jack? Because that is something that seems very unrealistic. Now the shape that we saw from Tonio, that was absolutely sensational at the Legion Sports this year. But that being said, we have seen him more ripped and more dry in the past. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what kind of a look he goes for this upcoming Dubai Pro. He might be the smallest guy in the lineup, but he has very full and very round muscle bellies. Very 3D, very complete. The separation in his quads, they are insane. And at the end of the day, how much you weigh, that simply doesn't matter. So this upcoming Dubai Pro, that is going to be a superb show. And let's just hope that more guys enter into this upcoming Dubai Pro. And I have to mention Tonio's comparison with Rubiel Mosquera. That is going to be so interesting and so entertaining. So RX Muscle posted a list of all those competitors who are qualified for the Olympia this year. And the one name that really triggered the audience, that was the name of a 2-time Miss Olympia champion, Big Ramy. Because most of us are under the impression that Big Ramy is done for good now. But is there a plot twist that is about to happen at the Olympia this year? Because Big Ramy also reposted that list onto his IG story. Or is it just Big Ramy playing with the audience and his fans? So normally Big Ramy chooses to stay away from the Olympia talk. He has avoided specific Olympia questions earlier during this year. So this does make the fans a bit curious. The one statement that Big Ramy made, and that was a few months back, was that he feels about 80% ready to start training for the Olympia this year. And once he feels like he's fully fit and he's 100% ready, he might go for it. But let's be very realistic here. Big Ramy's last show, that was back in 2023, that was the Arnold, Ohio that year. And according to Big Ramy and many fans, many bodybuilding experts, and many legends of the game, that was one of the best looks of Big Ramy. And he kind of got overlooked at that show. And yes, I know, his waist wasn't the same as it was, let's say, back in 2014. But the man came in so much more improved. Compared to the Olympia back in 2022, he was big, he was in a bad condition, and his back, that looked a lot better. But the judges still did not even consider him for a top 3 finish at that show. So what will be Big Ramy's motivation to put the rest of his life on one side, put his health at risk one more time, and just go all out for the next 18 weeks, when he already knows that his physique, that will no longer be rewarded? The mutant Nick Walker checks in at 18 weeks out of this year's Miss Olympia, looking larger than a live character. So this is 3 weeks post his New York Pro win, and by winning that, Nick Walker also set a very unique record, and that was becoming the first guy to win that prestigious New York Pro ring 3 times in his career. And he openly says that in his mind, He beat Derek at the Pittsburgh Pro. And the fact is, majority of the bodybuilding fans, they agree with that. And Derek at this point, that is the least of his worries for this upcoming Miss Olympia. Nick Walker predicted that he's going to be in that Olympia top 3. And you bet, the guy whom he thinks he's beating, that is Derek Lunsford, because that is how he felt on the Pittsburgh Pro stage. So we will see how this goes for him at the Olympia this year. Because even if you thought that Nick should have won the Pittsburgh Pro, I think you can agree that Derek at that show, that simply wasn't his best. So all that negative talk pointed at Nick, that his physique, that should never be considered for the Olympia title to represent the sport of bodybuilding as the biggest ambassador. But even through all that, Nick has had his head down and he's putting in the work and sticking to his strengths. So the man did almost every single thing that the judges asked him to do. Bring up his quads, bring down his waist, and bring a crazy looking conditioning. Now he wants to be a bit more heavier for the Olympia this year by at the very least 4 to 5 pounds, which is something that in my opinion is the tricky part. Can he accomplish that without blowing up his waistline? Because if he can, the man is gonna be very scary at the Olympia this year. The 8 times Miss Olympia Lee Haney, the legend, one of the best of all time. He isn't coming slow in the past few days, as he took a very direct shot at the modern era of bodybuilding, especially at the men's open class, calling the front relaxed pose and the way it's being hit by the open bodybuilders of this era a motorbike stance, which is nothing but a way to hide the weaknesses and lack of symmetry. So whom do you guys think he's referring to here? And is it fair for all of these guys from back in the 80s and the 90s to keep criticizing the modern era of bodybuilding? Because if you look at the top 3 Olympians from the last couple of years, namely Hardy, Derek and Samson, all these 3 guys, they have amazing waist control. All 3 of these amazing guys, they have this ability to pull a very great vacuum. And all these guys, they are very impeccable in terms of the posing and the presentation. And all of them are always very mindful of keeping their waistline tight. So there is also this belief, not only in bodybuilding, but in all the other professional sports, that their era, that was superior. And this is something which is widely considered very true, especially when it comes to the 90s era. Now another thing to notice here is that many people out there, including some big names in bodybuilding, like 1983 Miss Olympia champion Samir Bannout, he thought that Shawn Ray should have won the Olympia title 1 or maybe 2 times against Dorian Yates back in the 90s, and he said that he was the odd man out there in that particular picture posted by Lee Haney. So what did you guys think? Is the criticism by Lee Haney that is fair? So the Emperor Classic Spain official list, that is now out, and it's kind of shocking to see the lack of competitors in that list. Not a single former Olympian decided to do this show, except for Angel Calderon, who is going to be testing a run again in the Men's Open before he competes at this upcoming Dubai Pro in the 212. So when we talk about having a strategy, entering a show to earn your Olympia spot, this is the kind of lineup I always talk about. Rubiel Mosquera, he had such a great shot. Not just having a test run, but probably earning his Olympia spot here. And then he can do Dubai Pro in 2 weeks' time without any pressure. And we all know if he isn't ready a week before the show, chances are he might still be a bit behind for this upcoming Dubai Pro. So the guy who is obviously the favorite to win this upcoming Emperor Classic Spain and the second pro show of his career, that is Sazan Herati. And I have got to say, what a superb run this has been by Sazan. So this is going to be his 6th pro show of this year, and the man is absolutely loving the process. So him versus Angel Calderon, the battle is going to be very interesting, since Angel is a type of athlete, a type of physique who can match Sazan in terms of the conditioning. So another anticipated name that is missing from this list, that is Spain's own Juan Pradels, and seems like he's looking at a later show this year. Now let me break it down for you guys on how difficult the upcoming shows are gonna be. Just look at the names who are yet to qualify for the Olympia this year. Justin Shire, John Jewett, Andrea Presti, John De Rosa, Muhammad Fodder, Quentin Beastwood. Then we have guys like Behrouz Tabani, Nathan Diasha. Now Quentin is the only guy who is yet to qualify for the Olympia out of all of these guys. So expect all of these upcoming shows totally stacked, starting from Tampa Pro. So do you guys think it's a big mistake by many of these guys not doing a show like Spin Pro? So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.